It was a Tuesday, October 14th, 1997, Oak Haven, Idaho, a town where everyone knew everyone. Doors were left unlocked, kids walked home alone. Emily Carter was 16, bright, a little shy. She played clarinet in the school band, dreamed of being a veterinarian. That afternoon, she walked home from Oak Haven High, a route she'd taken many times. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. The autumn leaves crunched under her sneakers. Witnesses saw her, Mrs. Henderson watering her mums. Emily waved, smiled. She turned onto Elm Street, just a few more blocks to her house. Her backpack, a faded blue JanSport, maybe thinking about the history test, or the school dance on Friday. But then, between the old oak tree and the Petersons' picket fence, Emily Carter vanished. One moment she was there, the next gone. No struggle, no screams, just an empty sidewalk. What happened to Emily Carter? That was the question on everyone's lips. 3 days, 72 agonizing hours. That's how long Emily Carter was missing. The search had grown desperate. Hope was dwindling. The police, the volunteers, her family, they were exhausted. They'd searched everywhere, or so they thought. Then came the call. Early Friday morning, a local fisherman out on Silver Creek Lake. He saw something unusual, something that didn't belong, something that made his blood run cold. It was Emily, but not in the way anyone expected, not washed ashore, not hidden in the reeds. She was floating. But this wasn't a typical drowning victim. Not at all. She was found in the middle of the lake, far from any shore, and she wasn't submerged. She was on the surface, lying flat on her back, as if resting on an invisible platform. Her clothes were dry, completely dry. Her hair, fanned out around her head, was also dry. The water around her was calm. How does a person end up floating perfectly dry in the middle of a lake, after being missing for 3 days? As news of Emily's bizarre reappearance spread, something else started to surface. Stories, whispers at first, then more confident accounts. People started remembering things they'd seen, things they couldn't explain, around the time Emily went missing, specifically on that Tuesday night and Wednesday. Strange lights in the sky. Not airplanes, not helicopters, not stars. Something different. Several residents, living miles apart, reported similar sightings. Bright, silent lights, moving in unusual patterns, hovering, then darting away at incredible speeds. One farmer, old Mr. Abernathy, lived near Silver Creek Lake. He said he saw a cluster of lights, low over the water, on Tuesday night. He thought it was kids with powerful flashlights at first, but the lights were too bright, too high, and they made no sound. He watched them for nearly an hour. They just hung there. Emily Carter woke up in the hospital, confused, weak. Her parents were there, tears in their eyes, but when they asked her what happened, Emily had no answers. Her memory of the past 3 days was a complete blank. She remembered walking home from school, turning onto Elm Street, and then nothing. The next thing she knew, she was in a hospital bed. The doctors called it dissociative amnesia, likely brought on by trauma. But what trauma? There were no physical signs of assault. As days turned into weeks, fragments began to surface. Recurring nightmares, bright lights, a humming sound, a feeling of weightlessness, being cold, so cold. She drew pictures, abstract shapes, swirls of light, large, dark eyes. Her therapist tried to help her piece it together. Hypnosis was considered, but her parents were hesitant, afraid of what they might uncover. She spoke of a room, a round room, with no windows, and a feeling of being watched, not by people, by something else. The Oak Haven Police Department, led by Sheriff Brody, found themselves in uncharted territory. They were used to small-town crimes. Petty theft, maybe a bar fight. Not this. Not a girl vanishing into thin air and reappearing dry in the middle of a lake, with reports of strange lights and amnesia. They did their best. They re-interviewed everyone, scoured Elm Street again, searched the woods around Silver Creek Lake. They found nothing. No footprints, no discarded items, no backpack. It was as if Emily had been plucked from one spot and deposited in another, by means unknown. Then came the issue of surveillance footage. There was a small convenience store, the Quick Stop, located on the corner of Elm and Main. Its security camera had a partial view of Elm Street. Potentially, it could have captured Emily walking by, or something else, something that might explain her disappearance. The police requested the tape for Tuesday, October 14th. The store owner, a man named Sal, was cooperative. He went to retrieve it, but the tape for that specific day was missing. Just gone. Sal swore it was there before. With no solid answers from the investigation, theories began to circulate. Oak Haven became a town of amateur detectives. Everyone had an idea. Some were mundane, others far-fetched. Could it have been a kidnapping? A bizarre prank gone wrong? But why the strange details? The floating, the dryness, the amnesia. These elements didn't fit any standard criminal profile. If someone had abducted her, why return her in such a peculiar way? And how? Without leaving a trace? The lack of ransom demand, the absence of any motive, made this theory less plausible. Then there were the more unconventional theories, the ones whispered in hushed tones, the ones involving the strange lights, alien abduction. It sounded crazy, like something from a tabloid, but the details were undeniably odd. The missing time, the fragmented memories of lights in strange rooms, the feeling of floating, the inexplicable way she was found. For some, it was the only explanation that seemed to fit all the bizarre pieces. Skeptics scoffed, of course, but even they had to admit the conventional explanations were falling short, terribly short. Could there have been a secret government experiment? Some kind of unknown technology being tested? Years have passed since 1997. It's 2025 now. Emily Carter eventually moved away from Oak Haven. She tried to build a new life, to leave the shadows behind. But the mystery of those 3 days never fully left her, or the town. Oak Haven is still marked by it. The story of the floating schoolgirl became a local legend, a cautionary tale, a chilling piece of its history. The case remains open, technically, but it's cold. Colder than the waters of Silver Creek Lake on that October morning. No new leads have emerged, no deathbed confessions, no scientific breakthroughs to explain the inexplicable. The missing surveillance tape from the quick stop was never found. Its absence remains a frustrating footnote in the case file. The witnesses to the strange lights, some have passed away. Others still stand by their accounts, their stories unchanged by time. Sheriff Brody retired a few years ago. He often said the Carter case was the one that haunted him the most, the one he could never make sense of. It defied all logic, all police procedure. It was, in his words, something else. But what that something else was, he couldn't say.